What's up, you guys? Let's do some yoga for the shoulders and neck. All right, let's start off with just getting into a comfortable seated position, which of course can be in a cross-leg seated position, which for me I need a bolster for, but obviously you can be seated with your feet flat. Really, it doesn't matter. Let's be real. It doesn't really matter, just as long as you're comfortable. It's morning time over here for me, so I'm definitely feeling a little bit stiff through my hips, so take some time to get comfortable. And even if you need to be in what feels like a non-traditional seated position. So we're gonna just kind of let all that jazz go. So come to a position that's comfortable, and then we're going to sit as tall as possible and just become aware of your shoulders and your neck. And maybe you already are aware of them because they're bothering you or tight. Let's start by taking a deep breath, and we're actually gonna shift our breathing a little bit more towards the collarbones and the shoulders. And so if you're sitting like I am, where I'm kind of bringing my shoulders forward, try to get to a position and place your hands and your arms to where you can feel like you're shifting your shoulder blades a little bit more back and down. And we want to actually focus our breath for the purpose of today a little bit more towards the rib cage, front, side, and back, towards the collarbones, and actually towards the shoulder blades and the front of the shoulders. And so just take a few breaths. This is a really good place to pause this video and take a good 5 full minutes if you want to, practicing breath work, because I'll tell you what, it's never going to be a bad idea. And while we're breathing, we want to just bring some awareness to the shoulders and neck and just kind of observe. So I really like the idea of inhale, cleansing, breath, exhale, releasing. So letting go of any expectations of our body, what we expect, or even frustration about pain, especially if it's chronic pain or something that you're just quite frankly, you're sick of. And so from here, we're going to just kind of grow ourselves a little bit taller. So extending through the crown of the head, and then floating right ear to right shoulder without shrugging the shoulder up. So basically every time that we do this, or lots of times when we do this, we find that the shoulder tries to come up with it. So just go right ear to right shoulder until you find that comfortable stopping point. On your next inhale, bring it back to center. Left ear to left shoulder. We're just going to kind of just continue with that gentle lateral flexion of the cervical spine, softening the throat and the back of the neck, and just making sure that we are not creating stress in the body. Maybe every time we come to each side, it's a little bit more each time. Start to loosen things up a little bit. You get to hear all the snap, crackles, and crunches of our neck. And then we're just going to rotate the chin towards the chest. Now on this one, definitely allow the bottom of your rib cage to almost kind of circle around with you. And just start to create whatever movement feels good. So you can rotate, you can tip the head back gently. Obviously just avoiding anything that feels like compression or pain in your neck. And so from here, we're going to come to a tabletop position. So make sure that you have something under your knees if you have bony knees like I do. I've got this handy dandy little pad here. You get it off Amazon like everything else. So we're going to come onto hands and knees and then just around the spine. And then come up onto the fingertips and focus more on creating space in between the shoulder blades. And so if you have wrist issues, you can come down to your forearms and do basically the same thing. In some ways, coming down to your forearms actually helps you connect to your shoulder blades. So whenever you're in a class and a yoga teacher is teaching those scapular push-ups or serratus push-ups. They're really hard to connect to, but if you come down to your forearms like this, by the way, it will help connect that movement, because sometimes we just have a hard time connecting and then it'll just click one day. So movement through the shoulder blades, and you can maybe just connect to that feeling of your shoulder blades sliding and gliding across your back body. And maybe you feel restriction in one side more than other, so just kind of noticing that, and then also remembering the neck. So maybe we go back to that movement in this position, lateral flexion of the neck, so ear to shoulder, chin to chest, rotate, look around. So basically from the bottom of the rib cage to the crown of the head, even though obviously the rest of our body is moving here, the focus is the head, neck, and shoulders. So a couple more rounds of that. We're going to come to a standing position, however you need to get there. And then once you get there, just stand nice and tall. And so I like to bring my feet just a little bit further apart. It just feels like a little bit more stable. And so we're going to start with the left arm. Reach the left arm up. And then over to the right. And then reach out to the side. Palm is facing up, like you're Spider-Man. And then you're going to open up to the back. And we're going to rotate back to the front. So we're doing a little bit of nerve flossing here for the median nerve. Obviously, bringing our shoulder through all of the movements and then getting some thoracic rotation in there too, which is, obviously it's all connected. You can start to rotate behind as well. And again, we're just looking for clues in our body that are like, oh, this hurts. I feel something clicking. I feel myself shrugging when I get to a certain point. It's a fine line, right? We want to push our body past, a little bit past that point of guarding. But at the same time, we want to respect our body's boundaries, because we get a lot more done that way, to be fair. Your nervous system just kind of spazzes out a little bit. We're going to cross the arm over the chest. As we're doing this too, obviously we're getting a nice stretch into the hip flexors, and also through the front of the belly. Let's go to the right side, so right arm up. Out to the side, Spider-Man, back, and rotate around. I almost immediately notice the difference between the sides. One side is way tighter. I'd say I actually have shoulder issues, but they just present in different ways. And so you likely will as well, especially when we get a little bit less young. I love this too, because it's really not about making sure that you get in this exact position. It's really about listening to your body. Which, if you're new to yoga or mind-body practices, sometimes that's annoying, because you're like, I just want someone to tell me what to do. But I promise you, the sooner that you tap into that conversation with your body, I swear it will feel good and better. So getting as much movement as possible, and then let's come back to a neutral position and purposefully pull the belly in and stand tall. And then shift the arms back with the palms up. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Again, pull the lower belly strong. See if we can interlace the hands and potentially straighten out the arms, pointing the knuckles towards the floor while engaging the glutes. So if it feels like a good idea, we can create more of that rotation and bending and movement through the neck. Obviously, just listening to your body. And just check in with your breath. Good, and then release your arms. We're going to take the right arm up towards the ceiling and reach. Bend the elbow, and then try to drop your fingertips in between your shoulder blades. Now you see mine doesn't get anywhere close, so it's just, the intention of just bending the arm and creating that space. Now if you feel a pinch in the front of your shoulder when you do this, what I like to do is just place my forearm, the belly of my forearm, on the top of my head, and then from there just kind of do a little bit of a back bend, side bend. And then we'll address sort of this area and in the shoulder as well, without creating that impingement. And then just rotate it around, and then inhale, reach the left arm out, bend your elbow. Let's see, I can get a little bit further here, not that that matters. So because I don't have any issues here, I'm going to take that just a little bit further, because I'm just listening to my body. The whole, do the exact same thing on the other side, it just doesn't quite apply to the human body. It doesn't work like that. And then from here, reach the arms up, arms out to the sides, palms facing forward. We're going to wrap and give ourselves a hug. So again, if you feel that impingement, just drop the elbows down and be a little bit more gentle with it. Reach the arms up and out to the sides. Give yourself another hug with the opposite arm underneath. If you can remember, I always forget which one I did. Again, I don't have as much movement on this side. And then inhale, reach the arms up, and we're going to go into a fold. So definitely bend your knees if you're really tight like I am, because we want to get a good long spine here so that we can dangle the arms. And let the weight of your head go. Say no, say yes. Take a couple deep breaths. And then from here, we're going to have a seat and come into a supported position. And I think I'm actually going to use my bolster for this. So if you don't have a bolster, you can use a block or a pillow or a blanket. Take your time getting into it. You can use something for the back of your head. So the idea is that we just want to have an opening up through the chest. Especially for poses that we're going to just be in passively. I'm a really big fan of just taking your time building it. There's just no point. We're so used to rushing with life all day, every day. So when we get on the yoga mat, guess what? Sometimes we do the same thing. Kind of work out our issues on the mat. So if you're going and going and going, it's sometimes hard to turn it off. So think about it like a practice, something that you're trying to get to a place where you can be a little bit slower and kinder to your body. So when I lower that block, it's a little bit too much into my back, so I'm going to go back up. So definitely at home, you guys do the same thing. And what worked yesterday may not work today, and so keeping that in mind. And the idea is we just want to have this lift into the upper thoracic area, and if you can create this rotation into the arm bones and open up through the chest, and then just get to a place where you can settle. I'm going to use my couch here. Now, if you can access it here, take it into a full belly breath. Sometimes I find it difficult to do that when I'm in this assisted fish, but try it, see which breath works the best. And then maybe even send your inhale towards the space of restriction. So if you're feeling it to the front of the shoulders or across the collarbones, mid-chest, lower belly. Just take a few breaths. So this is a really good time again to just pause. After this video ends, you can just stay here for up to 10 minutes, honestly. Maybe a little bit less if you know that when you come out of it, you might have a little bit of stiffness or pain from being in one position too long. If you've got arthritis in the shoulders, or if you're already feeling sort of your body going in that direction. And thank you guys so much for joining me, and happy neck and shoulders.